Batman, the animated series. The Midnight Hour. Written by Michael Reaves. Adapted by Tim Maxwell. Chapter 1. Dark Bargains. In the shadowy expanse of the warehouse district, the night is heavy with tension and foreboding. The deserted streets and boarded-up buildings, their derelict appearance, hint at the nefarious activities that lurk within. A high-priced sedan and a panel truck stand out against the bleak backdrop, the truck's open doors revealing crates of suspicious cargo, hinting at illegal substances hidden within. As the clock strikes 3:28 a.m., the sky rumbles with distant thunder, and intermittent flashes of heat lightning illuminate the scene. Autumn leaves dance and swirl in the wind, further amplifying the eerie atmosphere. Inside the dimly lit scene, Drakkar, a menacing figure clad in a luxurious cashmere coat, opens a suitcase brimming with cash. The supplier, a shadowy figure in a less distinguished garb, examines the money with a nod of approval. Their alliance is momentarily secured, flanked by a cadre of grim-faced goons, the air thick with the promise of illicit dealings. Suddenly, a batarang flies through the air, its trajectory precise and deadly. It strikes the suitcase, sending it tumbling from the supplier's hands. The ensuing chaos is marked by a thunderclap, and Batman appears, silhouetted against a jagged fork of lightning. His presence is commanding, and the battle begins with an explosive energy. Batman plunges into the fray, his figure a blur of disciplined ferocity. He tackles two goons with swift precision, their cries of pain piercing through the stormy night. His relentless assault continues as he overpowers the remaining goons with ease, his movements a testament to his formidable combat skills. A goon attempts a desperate leap onto Batman's back, but is swiftly flipped over, crashing into another adversary. Drakkar, sensing the imminent threat, edges cautiously along the truck's side. His eyes dart nervously toward the rooftop, where a sniper is barely visible, poised with a tranquilizer rifle. The sniper takes aim, and as Drakkar's confidence wavers, a loud punch reverberates through the chaos, causing him to glance back with growing trepidation. Batman, undeterred, grabs a goon by the collar and hurls him forcefully out of the fray. His focus sharpens on Drakkar, who, panic-stricken, attempts to flee. With a single, powerful leap, Batman captures Drakkar by the expensive fabric of his cashmere coat, lifting him off the ground. The sniper fires, the tranquilizer dart striking Batman's shoulder with a sickening thud. Batman's reaction is immediate, a grunt of surprise escaping his lips as the drug begins to seep into his system. His vision blurs. Drakkar fades in and out of focus. Behind Batman, a goon raises a sap and brings it down with a resounding thud. Batman collapses to his knees, the tranquilizer's effects becoming increasingly debilitating. The remaining goons seize the opportunity, dragging the struggling Dark Knight down with a savage, coordinated effort. The goons, now in control, lift the unconscious Batman with grim determination. The storm continues to rage, underscoring the gravity of their actions as they carry the defeated hero toward the truck, the fate of the night hanging in the balance. As the sun begins its descent, casting a warm orange hue over the landscape of Dick Grayson's dorm room, the desk clock reads 7:10 p.m., its steady ticking the only sound in the otherwise quiet room. Dick sits at his desk, engrossed in his studies. He turns pages of a textbook, the eraser end of his pencil clutched between his teeth, occasionally jotting down notes. The atmosphere is calm and focused. The tranquility is broken by the sharp ring of a telephone. Dick picks up the receiver, his face showing a hint of curiosity as he greets the caller. On the other end, Alfred, in the grand library of Wayne Manor, speaks with a tone of concern. The vast room is filled with towering shelves of books, illuminated by the soft glow of lamps. Alfred, ever the picture of composure, reveals his worry about Bruce Wayne's unexplained absence. Dick's initial reaction is one of nonchalance. He leans back in his chair, unconcerned, acknowledging Bruce's tendency to go undercover for extended periods. However, as Alfred mentions Bruce's promise to return before morning for an important stockholders meeting, Dick's demeanor shifts to one of seriousness. Without delay, Dick's sports car roars into the long drive leading to Wayne Manor. A short time later, Alfred opens the door to greet him. The concern in Alfred's eyes is palpable, though he tries to downplay it. Dick reassures Alfred, asking about the case Bruce was involved in. In the library, the clock reads 8:05 p.m. Alfred, with a touch of hesitation, reveals that Bruce had said little about his current case, only mentioning the warehouse district south of Pasco Place. This information prompts Dick to adopt a more serious expression. The secret mechanism in the bookshelf is triggered, revealing a staircase that descends into darkness. Dick, now donned in his Robin costume, prepares for action in the Batcave. The dimly lit cavern is filled with advanced technology and equipment. Alfred watches as Dick buckles his utility belt, the weight of the situation evident on his face. Alfred provides the last piece of information about the city's drug trade, emphasizing the location Bruce was investigating. Robin, seated on the Batcycle, is momentarily apprehensive. He picks up his helmet, expressing his concern about potentially interfering with Bruce's case. Alfred's words of encouragement underscore the urgency of the situation, urging Robin to trust his instincts. As Robin dons his helmet and starts the Batcycle, the roar of the engine fills the cavern. Alfred, standing alone, watches with a mixture of hope and worry as Robin speeds up the ramp and into the night. The stormy sky outside seems to reflect the turmoil and uncertainty that Robin feels as he ventures into the unknown, driven by the belief that Bruce might need his help. The events unfold in the shadowy expanse of the warehouse district on Pasco Place. The clock sign flickers, marking 8:42 p.m. The eerie silence of the deserted area is abruptly broken by the roar of the Batcycle. Robin, clad in his distinctive costume, maneuvers the cycle into view before dismounting with purpose. Robin's flashlight beam cuts through the darkness as he methodically scans the ground for any signs of evidence. His attention is drawn to a small vial lying in the gutter. The flashlight's light glints off its surface, highlighting its significance. Robin carefully retrieves the vial, handling it with caution to avoid contaminating any potential evidence. He examines it closely and, with a cautious sniff, assesses its contents. After this brief investigation, Robin returns to the Batcycle and retrieves a small microphone from its control console. He activates the device, and a crackling voice of Alfred emerges from the speakers. Robin updates Alfred on his location and the discovery of the vial, noting that it seems unlikely Batman would have dropped it by accident. Alfred's response, though not heard directly, suggests that the vial is indeed a clue. Robin stores the vial in a compartment of his utility belt and heads back to the Batcave. The transition to the Batcave's lab area is marked by the contrast of its high-tech environment against the grimy exterior of the warehouse district. Robin examines the vial under a workbench, dusting it for fingerprints. Despite his meticulous efforts, he finds no prints. Frustration is evident as he straightens up, contemplating the purpose behind the vial's presence. Alfred, observing from a distance, suggests that the vial might be a reference to a past case. This idea resonates with Robin, who realizes that the clue could be linked to one of their previous encounters. They turn their attention to the Batcave's trophy area, where relics from past cases are displayed. The giant penny, the robot dinosaur, and the Joker card suspended from the ceiling. Each trophy represents a significant moment in their crime-fighting history. Robin's gaze fixes on the Joker's card, his thoughts racing through their many shared cases. He steps closer to the display, pondering which case the vial might be referencing. The mocking face of the Joker leers down at him, a chilling reminder of past confrontations. Robin's intense focus is on the Joker's card, the implications of the vial weighing heavily on his mind. The sense of urgency and determination is palpable as he prepares to delve deeper into the mystery, driven by the belief that this clue is crucial to finding Batman and unraveling the latest threat. The night envelops Arkham Asylum in a sinister cloak of darkness. The oppressive atmosphere is palpable, evoking a sense of dread that pervades the crumbling stone walls and echoing corridors. From a high-leaded skylight, a lone silhouette drops gracefully into the shadows below, Robin moving with stealth and purpose. Robin makes his way down the narrow, dimly lit corridor, his movements precise and careful. The echoes of distant mutterings and occasional laughter of the asylum's inmates create a haunting backdrop, their voices a dissonant symphony of madness. The corridor is bathed in intermittent pools of light, casting long, eerie shadows that dance along the walls. His destination is the Joker's cell. The cell is a stark and sterile environment, the Joker's twisted grin faintly illuminated by the dim light. Inside, the Joker, clad in a straitjacket, lounges with an air of perverse calm, his eyes glinting with malicious delight. His response to Robin's presence is one of mock surprise, the cell's glass-fronted walls reflecting his unhinged grin. Robin approaches the cell cautiously, his focus unwavering. The vial of acid, the clue he discovered earlier, is held up for the Joker's scrutiny. The vial's contents reflect the dim light as Robin presents it with an accusatory glare. The Joker's reaction is one of feigned hurt, his voice dripping with sarcasm as he pretends to be offended by the insinuation of his involvement. Despite the Joker's theatrics, Robin's patience wears thin. He pounds his fists against the glass, his frustration evident as he demands answers. The Joker remains unperturbed, his demeanor a chilling contrast to Robin's urgency. The Joker's cryptic response about the clock ticking and a forthcoming event adds to Robin's mounting anxiety. Robin checks his watch. It reads 9:15 p.m. The urgency of the situation becomes clear. The Joker's cryptic and sinister revelation about an auction scheduled for midnight, where the highest bidder will have the chance to end Batman's life, sends shockwaves through Robin. The Joker's maniacal laughter echoes through the corridor, amplifying the sense of impending doom. The tension between Robin and the Joker is palpable as Robin's shock and dread mount. The Joker's laughter reverberates through the empty halls of Arkham, a haunting sound that signifies the grim stakes at play. Robin, now fully aware of the gravity of the situation, must act swiftly to prevent the dire fate awaiting Batman. Chapter 2. The Graveyard Gambit. In the cold, dim confines of Arkham Asylum, Robin stands rigidly outside the Joker's cell. The Joker's maniacal laughter fills the small space, a chilling soundtrack to the tension that permeates the air. Robin's frustration is evident as he demands answers from the Joker, but the laughter continues unabated. Robin's resolve falters momentarily as the Joker's mocking tone provides no clues. He starts to turn away, but the Joker's voice cuts through the murkiness, offering a hint that catches Robin's attention. The Joker's demeanor shifts from gleeful to ominous as he announces that he intends to be the one to deliver the final blow to Batman. He casually suggests that Robin should check the graveyard, his eyes gleaming with malevolent delight as he retreats into the shadows. The Joker's reference to the graveyard hangs heavy in the air as Robin processes the cryptic clue. His mind races as he considers which graveyard might be relevant, Gotham Cemetery or Mountain Crest. The Joker's taunts about thinking like Batman and living up to his ideals add another layer of psychological pressure on Robin, emphasizing the psychological games the Joker enjoys playing. The Joker, now mostly hidden in darkness, re-emerges briefly, his grin and glowing eyes the only features visible. His final remarks are dismissive, encouraging Robin to figure things out on his own while expressing an unsettling blend of boredom and mockery. As the Joker fades into the shadows, Robin is left with a sense of urgency and determination. With a final glance at the Joker, Robin exits the cell, his mind set on deciphering the clue. The graveyard holds the key to finding Batman, and the race against time is on. Robin's steps are swift and determined as he heads back to the Batcycle. The weight of the Joker's words fueling his resolve to find Batman and thwart whatever sinister plan awaits. Gotham City's streets are cloaked in night, illuminated by the occasional street lamp that flickers like the last ember of a dying fire. The Batcycle roars down these dimly lit avenues, its engine a steady growl against the backdrop of the city's hushed whispers. Robin, focused and determined, speeds toward his destination with urgency. His voice cuts through the roar of the engine as he updates Alfred, calculating the time needed to reach Mountain Crest Cemetery. Alfred, stationed in the Batcave, holds the phone with a concerned expression. He tries to piece together the significance of the cemetery. But Robin's reference to Jack Crown, a former teen idol, leaves Alfred puzzled. The Batcycle's engine fades as Robin continues his journey up a winding road leading to the cemetery. Mountain Crest Cemetery stretches before Robin, an expanse of solemn headstones and cryptic mausoleums bathed in the pale glow of Gotham's full moon. The fog that clings to the ground adds an ethereal quality to the scene, creating an atmosphere of eerie quiet. Robin navigates through the maze of gravestones, his senses heightened by the stillness and occasional distant calls of nightbirds. His focus sharpens when he hears a clinking sound, a disturbance in the otherwise tranquil night. The sound leads him to Jack Crown's mausoleum, a site adorned with the trappings of a former star's fanfare, flowers, wreaths, and memorabilia. The mausoleum, opulent and solemn, now bears a disturbing sign of recent tampering. The statue once perched on its pedestal has been recently broken off. Robin approaches the mausoleum, his movements cautious and deliberate. Just as he reaches the entrance, he is ambushed by 3 grave robbers, their tools of choice, shovels and crowbars, gleaming menacingly. A brief scuffle ensues as Robin's agility and combat skills come into play. He delivers a powerful sidekick to one grave robber, but is quickly overpowered by the others. Struggling against their hold, Robin executes a deft maneuver, flipping over one grave robber and causing chaos among the group. The disarray allows him to regain control, and he swiftly moves to the top of the mausoleum for a strategic vantage point. From this height, he observes the grave robbers' actions with increasing disdain. The burlap sack they were carrying spills its contents, revealing a marble statue of Jack Crown, an object of illicit desire for the robbers. Robin's shock is palpable. The desecration of a resting place and the theft of a memorial hit a deep chord. As the grave robbers regroup and plan their escape, one of them brandishes a gun. Robin, ever resourceful, throws a batarang with precision, knocking the weapon out of the thief's hand. The robbers, realizing they're cornered, attempt to flee, but Robin is prepared. He deploys another batarang, which ensnares the trio in a net of high-tensile wire. The robbers crash to the ground, entangled and subdued. Robin, now standing atop the mausoleum, looks down with a mix of resolve and frustration. The theft has been thwarted, but the urgency to locate Batman remains. The Batcycle's engine roars again as Robin prepares to leave the scene, determined to follow every lead in the relentless search for his missing mentor. In the eerie stillness of Gotham's night, Robin stands next to the Batcycle, its engine idling softly. The police lights in the distance cast an intermittent glow over the cemetery, hinting at recent activity. Robin speaks into the Batcycle's console mic, his words tinged with frustration. Mountain Crest Cemetery has yielded no new clues, only a trio of grave robbers. The clock is ticking, and he shifts his focus to Gotham Cemetery, hoping to find something more. A quick glance at his watch confirms the urgency, 10:45 p.m. With a determined nod, Robin prepares to mount the Batcycle. As he does, his attention is drawn to the nearby Wayne gravesite, where the simple, dignified memorials of Thomas and Martha Wayne stand against the night. The solemn scene reminds him of the immense responsibility he carries this night. He silently vows to find Batman, his promise echoing through the graveyard's quiet. With a final look at the graves, Robin climbs onto the Batcycle and roars away into the night, leaving the cemetery behind. The Batcave's interior is stark and shadowed as Robin arrives, visibly distressed. He paces back and forth, his frustration palpable. Alfred, equally concerned, watches as Robin recounts his lack of success at Gotham Cemetery. Robin suspects the Joker may have been toying with him, perhaps even directing the grave robbers to mislead him. Alfred poses a critical question about the authenticity of the Joker's claim of an auction for Batman's life. Robin's grim expression confirms his fear that the threat is real. He admits to Alfred that the Joker's clue about thinking like Batman holds merit, but the task is daunting. Batman's relentless, brooding nature contrasts sharply with Robin's own approach. Alfred offers words of encouragement, reminding Robin of the importance of Batman's influence and the sacrifices he has made. Robin's furrowed brow reflects deep concentration as he processes Alfred's words. Suddenly, his gaze shifts to the trophy area. The memory of a past case involving Dr. Tsin, who had held them prisoner in Chinatown, resurfaces. Robin recalls that Batman had used acid from his belt to dissolve their chains during that ordeal. This revelation ignites a new line of thought. Determined, Robin holds up the vial of acid and connects the dots. If Batman had used this type of acid before, it might be linked to a current threat. Alfred notes that the case involved drug trafficking and wonders if it's connected to their present situation. Robin's resolve hardens. He turns to Alfred and mentions Drakkar, the notorious drug lord known as the Dragon, suggesting that he may be the key to finding Batman. Without wasting any time, Robin heads towards the Batcycle, his mission now clear. Alfred watches with a mixture of pride and concern as Robin speeds off into the night, his bike cutting through the darkness with purpose. Alfred's soft words of encouragement linger in the air as Robin disappears into the Gotham night, racing against time to uncover the truth and save Batman from impending danger. In the heart of Gotham Square, the bustling cityscape pulses with neon lights and the hum of nightlife. The streets are alive with activity, showcasing the eclectic mix of theaters, nightclubs, and shops. Among the colorful chaos, a particular store stands out with its array of Batman and Robin memorabilia, highlighting the city's fascination with its vigilante heroes. From a high vantage point, Robin watches the scene unfold below. He is silhouetted against the backdrop of a giant billboard, his figure barely visible in the shadowy recesses of the rooftop. His keen eyes scan the street, searching for any sign of criminal activity amidst the neon glare. Suddenly, Robin's attention narrows to a small-time hustler known as Skates. Skates glides along the sidewalk on rollerblades, maneuvering with deceptive speed. He zeroes in on an elderly lady walking quietly along the street. In a swift, practiced move, Skates snatches the lady's purse from her arm. The woman's startled cry pierces the night as she reacts in dismay. Robin's focus sharpens and he springs into action. His body moves with the precision of a well-oiled machine and he launches himself from the rooftop. Skates, still rolling swiftly, is abruptly yanked off his path and into the dark confines of a narrow alley between two buildings. In the alley, Robin asserts control, gripping Skates by the shirt front with one hand and the stolen purse in the other. He returns the purse to the old lady, who hurries away with a grateful but anxious look. Robin turns his attention back to Skates, who now stands pressed against the alley wall. With a hint of recognition, Robin notes Skates' continued solo ventures in crime. Skates, however, is not alone in his misdeeds. A hulking figure named Lenny, a brute of a man with the build of a small truck, emerges from the shadows. Lenny's massive arms envelop Robin in a crushing bear hug, lifting him off the ground. Robin's eyes widen in shock and surprise as Lenny's grip tightens. The boy wonder struggles fiercely against the overwhelming strength of Lenny, but his efforts are futile. The pressure of Lenny's embrace constricts Robin's chest and constricts his air supply. His face begins to turn a distressing shade of purple, the struggle intensifying as he fights against the incapacitating hold. Skates, now free from immediate threat, grins with a mixture of triumph and malice. He watches as Lenny overpowers Robin, his role in the situation now reinforced by the brute force of his partner. The alley remains cloaked in darkness as Robin's struggle becomes more desperate. The noises of the bustling city above seem to fade, replaced by the harsh sounds of Robin's labored breathing and the muffled echoes of his confrontation with Lenny and Skates. Chapter 3. Trapped Bird. In the shadowy alley, Robin remains ensnared in the relentless grip of Lenny. The brute's enormous arms compress around him, squeezing with a force that seems insurmountable. Robin's face, flushed and straining, reveals the intensity of his struggle. Skates, the small-time hustler, stands by with a self-satisfied smirk, reveling in the chaos he has helped orchestrate. Despite the crushing embrace, Robin manages to reach behind his back and retrieve his grappling gun. His movements are laborious but determined. With a deft flick of his wrist, he aims the gun upward and fires the grappling hook toward a fire escape ladder. The metallic hook latches onto the ladder, initiating a series of mechanical clicks and whirs. As the grappling gear engages, the fire escape ladder is pulled downward. Lenny, slow to react, looks up just in time for the bottom rung to slam into his head with a resounding whack. The impact causes Lenny to release his hold on Robin, staggering backward before collapsing to the ground with a stunned groan. Robin, regaining his composure, directs his attention to Skates. The hustler, attempting a hasty getaway on his rollerblades, is suddenly intercepted by a batarang attached to a line. The batarang wraps around Skates, yanking him off his feet and sending him crashing to the pavement with a thud. Robin swiftly approaches Skates, grabbing him by the collar and pulling him to his feet. The boy wonder's demeanor is stern as he demands information. Skates, now visibly anxious, stammers that he knows little, only that Drakkar plans to frag Batman. He admits he was excluded from the high-level details, only aware of the meeting place and time. With a menacing presence, Robin presses Skates for specifics. The hustler reveals that the critical event is set to take place at the graveyard at midnight. The revelation hits Robin with a jolt. He releases Skates, who hastily speeds away on his rollerblades. Robin is momentarily stunned by the news, but quickly refocuses. He hesitates only briefly before changing direction and dashing away with renewed urgency. The graveyard looms large in his mind as the clock ticks ever closer to midnight. The night air is thick with anticipation as Robin races against time to prevent disaster. In the dimly lit side street, the hum of the city is punctuated by the rhythmic sound of the subway rumbling beneath the grating. Robin, perched beside a subway kiosk with steam wafting from the ventilation grating, clutches the mic to his mouth. His frustration is palpable as he updates Alfred on the dire situation. The graveyard mention must refer to something beyond the obvious locations, perhaps a hidden, urban location. The subway train's passing causes the lights beneath the grating to flicker. Robin's gaze sharpens as the rumble of the train intensifies. The clock is ticking, and time is quickly slipping away. As he ponders his next move, a sudden realization strikes him. He snaps his fingers in a moment of clarity and swiftly drops the mic, darting into the subway kiosk. Inside the subway station, the atmosphere is grim and decrepit. Graffiti stains the walls, and trash litters the floors. A derelict huddles in a corner, his eyes following Robin's rapid descent down the stairs to the lower level. The narrow corridors are dimly lit, with electrical conduits and water pipes lining the walls. The scurrying of rats adds an eerie touch to the surroundings. Robin races through the maze of corridors, eventually arriving at an intersection dimly lit by bare hanging bulbs. His progress is abruptly halted by the sudden appearance of a thug, his gun barrel extended threateningly next to Robin's head. Robin, recognizing the situation, remains still as the thug instructs him on the way to the subway graveyard. In a sudden and decisive move, Robin drops to one knee, executing a swift kick that catches the thug on the chin. The thug collapses, stunned and in pain, allowing Robin to move forward. Crawling through a service conduit, Robin emerges into a new corridor and spots a small grid in the wall. He forces his way through it and peers out into the vast, dimly lit area of the subway graveyard. The scene before him is startling, a cavernous space filled with decrepit subway cars and Gothic arches. Tables with expensive dishes and candelabra stand incongruously in the midst of the decay, surrounded by Gotham's criminal elite. Drakkar, the enigmatic figure of the evening, stands atop a subway car, with Batman chained to a cross beside him. The grandfather clock nearby reads 11:58, and the tension is palpable as Drakkar prepares to auction off Batman's fate. The underworld figures, including Arnold Stromwell, Rupert Thorne, and Two-Face, eagerly participate in the bidding. As Two-Face bids an exorbitant amount, the clock strikes midnight, and the tolling begins. Robin's frantic actions come into play as he kicks the grid open, revealing the fuse box on the far wall. He hurls a batarang, slicing through the power line and plunging the subway graveyard into darkness. The sudden blackout throws the criminal gathering into disarray. Robin swings into action, using his grappling hook to knock Drakkar and Two-Face off the top of the subway car. Meanwhile, Robin quickly pours a vial of acid on Batman's chains, freeing him from his confinement. As Batman and Robin leap from car to car, the mobsters, now disoriented and panicked, scramble to escape. The duo stands atop a subway car, their silhouettes framed by the darkness. Batman and Robin each throw batarangs with lines attached in different directions, ensnaring Drakkar, Two-Face, Stromwell, and Thorne. The captured criminals lie tangled and subdued, their surprise and rage evident even in the dark. Batman and Robin, united and triumphant, look down on the captured figures, their mission accomplished, just as the clock struck midnight. As dawn breaks over Gotham City, the eastern sky is painted in hues of pink and gold. Standing on the ledge of a towering skyscraper, Batman and Robin are framed by the early morning light. The breeze whips their capes, creating an impression of motion and power against the stillness of the new day. From this vantage point, the city sprawls out beneath them, bathed in the gentle light of dawn. Batman's silhouette is resolute, his presence commanding. Robin stands beside him, the weight of their recent adventure evident in his posture. Robin, overwhelmed by the gravity of their experience, looks at Batman with a mix of disbelief and satisfaction. The words of his mentor, while acknowledging the skill it took to save him, do little to quell the thrill of his own success. Batman's calm demeanor is a stark contrast to the tumultuous emotions Robin feels. The sky continues to lighten, casting a warm glow over the city. Robin's face reflects his mixed emotions, pride, relief, and a touch of frustration. He raises his hands in a gesture of surrender, as if the weight of the world has momentarily lifted from his shoulders. With a resigned yet determined look, Robin turns away from Batman, heading towards his next obligation. The distant sound of the city waking up and the promise of a new day contrast sharply with the intensity of their recent confrontation. His steps are purposeful, a sign of the routine that awaits him. Batman watches Robin walk away, his gaze filled with a sense of pride and a hint of admiration. As Robin pauses to look back, Batman's demeanor softens. A rare, genuine smile appears on his face, a gesture of appreciation that transcends the usual stoicism. The connection between the two is palpable, a silent acknowledgement of their bond and shared experiences. Robin, initially taken aback, allows a grin to spread across his face. It's a grin of triumph, one that signifies more than just victory. It's the smile of a son who has earned the approval of a demanding father. As Batman continues to look on, the city below starts to stir. The day unfolding with the promise of new challenges and opportunities. The two figures stand in silent understanding, the dawn marking not just the end of their latest ordeal, but the beginning of another chapter in their ongoing partnership.